Hello, my friends. Today we're learning Basra Daf Kuf Mem Gimel. We're starting a line down, the Itma. So we learned, and this is regarding what we learned yesterday, and we explained it already, but we're going to continue from here. The Itma, we learned Koni Kechamor. If someone says, Reuben tells to Shimon, I want you to be koina this field like a donkey. Loi Kona, Shimon won't be koina because like a donkey is not koina, Shimon won't be koina. את וחמור, רב נחמן אמר קנה מחצה, ורב נון אמר לא אמר כלום, ורב ששת אמר קנה הכל. So what the din if someone says, Reuben says to Shimon, I want you to be koine this field, you and the donkey, not like a donkey. Like a donkey, everyone agrees you're not koine because the donkey is not koine, but he's saying you and the donkey should be koine. So Rav Nachman says, you're koine half. The donkey obviously is not koine, but the Shimon is koine half. Rav Nuna says he didn't, it's as if he said, you should be koina like a donkey, because like the donkey is not koina, also he is not koina. And Rav Sheshet says he's koina everything. The donkey is not koina. You and the donkey, but the donkey is not koina. You're koina everything. Amar Rav Sheshet, mina amina ladetanya Rav Yossi omer, en lecha mar בקישוט, אלא פנימי שבו. לפיכך כשהוא תורם, מוסיף על החיצון שבו ותורם. אמר את וחמור שייני הטעם, דמדאורייתא תרומה מעלייתא. אמר רבי אילאי, מנין התורם מן הרע על היפה שתרומת הטומאה, שנאמר ולא תישאו עליו חטא בהריכם את חלבו ממנו, ואם אינו קדוש נשיאת חטא. למה? מכאן התורם מן הרע על היפה שתרומת התרומה. So the Gemara says, Rav Sheshet says, I hold that when you're koina everything, when you say Reuben says to Shimon, you should be koina this field together with a donkey, Shimon will be koina the whole field. Says Rav Sheshet, I have a raya that said in the Brayta, so Rabbi Yossi says that in a kishus, it's a type of vegetable. So many times it's bitter inside, the inside part, and therefore when a person wants to give truma, he wants to give truma. Truma, the average truma is 1 in 50. So let's say you have 50 kishos, and you want to give one. The problem is, the fear is that maybe this kishu is bitter, and therefore you'll be turning bad on good. And at this stage of the Gemara, I understand that when you turn bad on good, it's not chal. So what do? When you give one kishush on the other 49, you add on that kishush a part that's sweet, that you know for sure is sweet, and therefore you have no problem. And then it's chal. So says Rav Sheshet, here it's like you together with a donkey, because the bitter part is not chal, and the sweet part is chal. And afilu the truma is chal, the whole truma is chal. Elamai, we can see when you say you and the donkey, you're koina everything. So it says Rav Sheshet, I have a raya. And that the Gemara answers, no. Over there, when you turn bad on good, midiraisa meika din, it's chal. But you shouldn't do so, but it's chal. And how do we know this? Because Rabbi Loy says, how do we know that someone who gives a truma something bad on something good, that means he wants to pointer his good stuff with bad stuff? How do we know that it's chal? Because it says in the pasuk, you shouldn't have a hate, you won't have a avera when you give the good. If you give the good part to truma, it's mashma. Then if you give the bad part for good part, you will get a hate. Says Rabbi Loy, why do you get a chait? If it's not chal and you just have to do it again, why is there a chait? You did nothing wrong, nothing was chal. Elomai, when you give bad on good, it's chal, just it's wrong, you owe a chait because you gave bad on good, and truma, you only give the good part. So we can see from there that even the bad's chal. So therefore, there's no raya from over here by the case of the kishus that's chal, because even if you only gave the bad part, it would be chal. So therefore, it's not like a donkey that's not chal at all, and therefore there's no raya. Continues the Gemara, אמר לי רב מרדכי לרב אשי, מה טיב רב אבי הטיובתא, מעשה בחמש נשים ובהם שתי אחיות, וליקט אחד כלכלה של תאנים ושלהן הייתה ושל שביט הייתה, ואמר הרי כולכם מקודשות לי בכלכלה זאת, וקיבלה אחת מהם על ידי כולם. אמרו חכמים, אין אחיות מקודשות, אחיות עוד הן מקודשות, או נכויות מקודשות, ואמר את וחמור אמר לי, היינו דחזאי רב אונה בר אביה בחלמא דמותי רב אביה טיובתא, למה הוא קינו דאמר הראויה מכם לביאה תקדש לי. So the Gemara says that Mordechai asked told Rav Ashi, that Rav Avia has a kasha on the shita who holds that when you say at v'chamor, it's not chal. Why? Because the Brisa says, or maybe it's a Mishnah, that there was a story with 5 women, and two of those 5 women were sisters, that you can't marry sisters, and a person took a pile of figs, and it belonged to them, but it wasn't really them, because it was Shnas Shmita when it's Hefka. And he said he gave them these figs, and he gave it to one of them to be mikabel the kiddushin for all 5, and they all wanted to take the kiddushin. One of them accepted it for all of them, and Chacham said that the kiddushin is chal on the 3 who are not sisters, and the 2 sisters are not mekudoshes. So we could see from there that it's like saying atve chamora, because the sisters, you can't be mekadesh, kiddushin are not toifes. And afilu achi, he excluded them all together. He said all 5 should be mekudeshes, and only the 3 who are okay to be mekadesh is chal, but the other 2 is not chal. So we could see from here that when a person says to someone, you should be zoich in this field together with the donkey, he's zoich in the whole field, because here they didn't even have to give back a chelik of the kiddushin of the sisters and say, 2 parts are not chal. You could see that everything goes to the ones who are mekudeshes. So we could see that the person's koine everything, l'chora to right to Rav Sheshes. So he answered to him, and he told him, this is what Rav Huna bar Aryeh saw in a dream. He saw that Rav Aryeh asked this ikasha. But I'll tell you what, didn't we explain that the case over there about the five ladies who a person was mekadesh and all I want, that's talking about where he said that the ones who are roy, the ones who are possible, why should be mekadesh, should be mekudesh. So therefore, for sure it's chal. If a person says you and the donkey should be zoiche in the field, and the one who is possible to be zoiche in the field should be zoiche, for sure you'll get the whole field, because the donkey is not shaykh. And everyone agrees to that. The question is if he never said that extra part, and he said just you and the donkey should be koina, and that's not similar to the sisters, because over there he said clearly only the ones who are royu to be mekudesh. Continue the Gemara, a man So a man told his wife, my possession should go to you and to your sons. So the question is, what does that mean? Does that mean half? You should get half of my possessions and my sons should get the other half and split it between them? Or no, does it mean to say that like my sons are anyway getting as Yerusha a portion of my possession, so you also should get a portion. But if there's 5 kids, and then the wife, so each one gets 1/6. What's pshat? Says the Gemara. What to do? Says the Gemara. Amar Rav Yosef kanta mechza. ואמר רב יוסף מינו אמינא לה דתניא רבי אומר והייתה לאהרון ולבניו מחצה לאהרון מחצה לבניו. אמר לאביי בישלי מעתם אהרון בר חלוקה הוא לאחי פירק לרחמנה למשקל פלגה אישה עליו בר ירושה דרש דליתו לאחד מן הבנים. So Rav Yosef says, what's the din in this following case when a man said that my possessions should go a person says should go to you, my wife, and to my kids? So Rav Yosef says the din is that she gets half, not only one portion like all the other kids, she gets half and the kids get the other half to split between themselves. And says Rav Yosef, how do I know this? Because it says in the Brisa, the Rebbe says, that it says in the Pasuk, V'oisel Aaron leBonav, and it's talking about Lechem Aponim, and it said that the Lechem Aponim should go to Aaron and his sons. And the Brisa says in the name of Rebbe, that half Aaron gets, half of the Lechem Aponim Aaron gets, and half the sons of Aaron, that means all the rest of the Koyanim. So we could see from there that when it says in the Torah Aaron Rebonov, it means half to Aaron and half to the kids. So also here when the man said half to my wife and to my kids, it means half to my wife and half to my kids. The very nice raya, really bringing from the Brisa of Lechem Apolim. Says Abaye, no, how could he compare? Over there, Aaron himself, he's a Kohen. So if the Torah wouldn't say Aaron and Bonov, would know Aaron would get a portion like any Kohen. He's not worse that he's a Kohen Gadol. So when the Torah says that Aaron and Bonov get it, why are they coming to specifically say Aaron? We know Aaron's a Kohen and he gets a part. Elamai, the Torah is coming to say that Aaron gets an extra part, he gets half, and all the other Kohanim get a half. So there, in that case, it makes sense half. But by us, a woman doesn't yarshin her husband. So if a woman doesn't yarshin her husband, so when a person said to his wife, you should get together with the sons, doesn't mean you should get half. All it means is you should get a portion, because if I wouldn't say this, if the husband wouldn't say it, you wouldn't get anything. So no, I added you to be like one of the sons to get one portion, but it doesn't mean that you should get half. So it's not a good dryer. Rav Yosef's dryer is not a good dryer. So the Gemara Eini, Va'uv Dava ben Arda v'ak b'Shmuel Palga, b'Tvarya v'ak b'Rebbi Yochanan Palga, v'tu ki ata Rabbi Yitzchak bar Yosef, amar ha'u damid klila, deshadu b'Malka, abuli v'Istrugi, amar Rabbi nitvu abuli Palga v'Istrugi Palga. Hachi ashta, hasa mikara, כי אבו כת ואבו לאבו כת ואיסטוריה ומסייע בעדיי וביד המלכה דאבא כמסייע אשתא מאי דקכת ואבו לי ואסטוריה למימא דאני פלגה ואני פלגה. So the Gemara says, Amy, we have a kasha on Abaye. Abaye says that this woman only gets one part like one of the sons. So the Gemara has we have three questions. Question one, that there was a story in Aryeh in Babel, and in such a case where a man said to his wife, you and your son should get my Rusha and Shmuel Paskin, that the wife gets half, not like Abaye. Another question is, and Tveria in Eretz Yisrael, where Rabbi Yochanan lived, there was also such a story that a man said to his wife, he should take, you and my son should get my Yerusha, and Rabbi Yochanan gave the wife half, not like Abaye. Question number three, that when Rabbi Yitzchak bar Yosef came, he said that there was this story about this crown, that the king said that the Abuli v'Estrugi should make this crown or pay for this crown. Now I'm going to go with the Shita Samayuri that I found it the easiest to understand. So Abuli v'Estrugi were two nations that were under this king, and he said that these two nations should do it. And let's say one nation had 1 million people and the other nation had 9 million people. And Rebbe said what the din is, that the Abuli, that nation should pay for half of the crown, and the Estrugi should pay half of the crown. Now we're saying the Abuli was a big nation of 9 million people. So it's similar to the kids where there's lots of kids. And the Estrugi is like the woman, there was only 1 million. And Afilu Achi, when the king said they both should do it, he said Estrugi and Abuli and Estrugi, Rebbe Paskin, that each one has to pay for half of the crown. So Nechur, Tzarayim against Abaye, like we see over there, even though that they're 1 million and they're 9 million, we say they both have to pay for half. So even though the woman is one and there's 9 other children, it means the woman gets half and the 9 other children get the other half, not like Abaye. On that, the Gemara says no. This is how you put it. There's no raya from the third case, the case of Rabbi Shmuel and the case of Rabbi Yochanan, we don't answer. But from this case, there's no raya. Why? Because it's different. Over there, normally when the king would say something was need to be done, he would say the Abuli needs to do it, the nation of the 9 million people, because there were much more people. And Mimela, the other nation that was smaller, the Estrugi, would also join in and help in their portion to help whatever the king needs. And the king always knew that that's the way it works. So if suddenly the king wrote specifically that they both need to do it, it must mean that they both should give half, not like normally that the Abuli give most and Estrugi helps in. It must mean that they both, each one should give half, like by Aaron and Bonov, that without the Torah saying Aaron Bonov, it's obviously like the Aaron should get a portion. So the Torah says Aaron and Bonov, it must mean that Aaron gets a bigger portion. So also here, since normally the king would say Abuli and the Estrugi would join in, and here the king said that they both need to do it, it must mean the king meant, in this case specifically by the crown, he wants them both to chip in 50-50, and therefore there's no raya from that third case. Continues the Gemara, Mativ Rab Zera, האומר הרי עליי מנחה 100 יסרון להביא בשני כלים, מביא 60 בכלי אחד ו40 בכלי אחד. והיא מביא ב50 בכלי אחד ו50 בכלי אחר, אחד יצא. אם מביאים לכתחילה לו, ויסל כדאי את הכל כיגם, לפלגו ופלגו, או אפילו לכתחילה נמי. הכי אשתא, הסה, מנן צעדי די גברא מעיקר לקרבן גדול כה מכוון, והיידה כאמר בשני כלים דידע דלא אפשר לעשוי בכלוי אחד, בכמה די אפשר להטיו מהסדינה, והלכת כבותי דרב יוסף, וסתה עניין ומחצה. So says the Gemara, another kasha on Abaye, a raya more to Abaye. Reb Zera asks a kasha. It says that someone promised a mincha of 100 tisorin, that's a big amount, and he said, I'm going to bring it in 2 vessels. So the din is lechatchila, you should bring 60 in one vessel and 40 in the other vessel. Said the Gemara Kufman Gimel on the base, that if he brought 50 in one and 50 in the other one, the din is he's yoitza. So the Gemara is medayik, Reb Zera is medayik, it's clear in the Brisa that if he brought 50-50 is okay, but lechatchila, he should bring the most you can in one keli, and the most that you can in one keli is 60, and then 40 in the other keli. And if you're going to tell me that when someone says to my wife and my kids, it means 50% to my wife and 50% to the kids, so why here the lechatchila should be the case that when he said I'm bringing 100 Yisroel in 2 kelim, it should mean 50-50. So the Aryeh, that when you say two things, it doesn't mean 50-50, it means in the portion that you can. So by the woman, she gets one portion, and by the kelim, the most you can in one keli, and the other keli, the rest. And the Gemara says, no, you can't compare the two cases. Over there, when a person promised such a big amount of mincha, we understand that he wants to bring a very big korban. He wants to bring a very big korban. Why does he say 2 kelim? Why doesn't he bring 100 in 1 keli? It's because he knows that you can't bring more than 60 in 1 keli, whatever the reason is, because it's not, you can't mix it properly. So therefore he promises him 2 kelim. But really he wants to bring a big korban. So we tell him, listen, lechatchila, you should bring the biggest korban that you can in 1 keli. And how much is that? 60. That's why lechatchila, you should bring 60 and 40. And that's why it doesn't mean 50-50, because the bigger mile and bring a big korban. And that's why we tell him lechatchila, but yeah, it works. But by us, Enochinami, when he says his wife and his kids, it means 50-50 and there's no raya. And then the Gemara finishes off, and the Gemara said that the halacha is like Rav Yosef in 3 cases, even though the Rav Yosef many times argues on Rabbah, and we always pass in like Rabbah, the 3 cases that we pass in like Rav Yosef. One of them is Sodeh. Sodeh is a case that we learned in Perek HaShutfim, that a person who bought land on the border of his father-in-law, and then there's the Yerusha, where does he get his land, etc. We pass in like Rav Yosef. And the second case is Inyan, that person who did a kinyan, and the machlok is how much could he be, when can he change his mind from the kinyan that he made? Can he change his mind all the time that they were sitting there, but once they got up, it's already too late? Or maybe already before that he can't change his mind. Once they start talking about different things, he can't change his mind. And we say we pass in like Rav Yosef, that it depends or not if they're sitting there, it depends if they're still dealing with the same thing. If they're still dealing with the same Inyan, you could change your mind. If not, it's too late, even though that they're still sitting down, and that's why it's called Inyan. And Mechza is our case, that when a person says to his wife, my nechosim should go to you and your sons, it means, like we passed in like Rabbi Yosef, that half goes to the wife and half goes to the children. Continues the Gemara and says, "Au deshadar piski desherai lebeite. Amar Rami ruin lebanim lebanim, ruin lebanot lebanot. ולא אמר an ered delek lekalata. אבל את לקלתה שדר, ואיבנתה לא נסיבה, לא ישב בנתה ומשדר לקלתה." So the Gemara says a story, a man who sent pieces of cloth or coats of silk to his house, and he said it's for the people of my house, and he didn't say exactly should it go to this son, to this son. So what should we do? Says Rav Ami, the one that's suitable for the boys, that are masculine clothes, should go to the boys. The one that's suitable for the girls should go for the girls. And we don't, and said the Gemara, or Rav Ami says that we don't say this only when he doesn't have a daughter-in-law. Then we give it to the girls. But if he has a daughter-in-law, it must mean we assume that a person cares about his daughter-in-law because he wants his son to be happy, and he meant to send the female clothes to send his daughter-in-law. And the Gemara says, but that's only, when do we say that he means to give to the daughter-in-law, not to his daughters? It means when his daughters are married and they have someone to take care of them. But if his daughters are not married, so he won't leave his daughters and only send his Kala. Lechora, it's not clear in the Gemara, but Lechora means that if his daughters are not married, it's also to his Kala and also to his daughters. Continues the Gemara and says, another story, Auda Amar Lehu, Michsai Lebanai, Ave Lebra Ubarta, Mi Karo Inchi Lebra Banai, או דילמה לא קראו אינשי לברה בנאי, ולמושכה לברתה במתנה קאתי. אמר אביי, תשמע בני דם חושים. אמר לי רבא, דילמה כדתן די בחזקיה שהם רובים כחושים של קנה. אלא אמר רבא, ובני פלו אליהו. יוסף אמר, ובני איתן עזריה. So the Gemara says a story. A man said, my possessions should go to my kids, to my bonim, to my sons. And in plural. Now this man had a boy and a daughter. So the question is, does a man call his only a son in a plural way? If so, he'll only go to his son because he said it in a masculine way. And or maybe because he has only one son and a person doesn't call one son in a plural way, therefore he meant to say that his daughter would be included, would be pulled into this Yerusha and she should get 50. That's why he said in a plural way that his daughter should also get. So said Abai, come and listen. It says in the Pasuk in Bereshis that it says Bnei Don, the sons of Don are Chushim. So we can see it says a lashon of plural, Bnei. It doesn't say Ben Don Chushim, it says a plural way, and then we say only one son. So we can see that when a person has one son, it's called even in a plural way, and therefore this father who said that my Yerusha should go to my sons, even though they has only one son, it goes to that son by himself because you could use a lashon plural on one son. So Rabba asked him, no, you don't have a raya from there because in Tana de Bechizkiah, the Brisa of Chizkiah explains that mean the son of Don Chushim doesn't mean that he had only one son. It means that there were many, like the Chushim of a Kone. Kone are like bamboo sticks or different types of like bamboos. And there's a few pshatim. If you ever see how they grow many in one place. Many of them come out the ground, or there's different pshat that the Rabbeinu Gershon says that the Kone has like many peels. It's made out of peels on top of peels. And if you ever see people who make out of bamboo sticks, they make out of baskets, so they peel off the bamboo into lots of thin layers and then they weave it. So when it says, so Don Bechizkiah, it says Don Chushim, it doesn't mean they had only one son called Chushim. No, that he had many sons like Chushim of Akoneh. So you don't have a raya over there to our subject because Bnei Don Chushim, you know why we say plural? Because he had many sons. Elo Marova, I'll bring you another raya that you can use plural for one singular son, because it says in the Pasuk in Bamidbar, Ubnei Palu Eliov. So we could see Palu had only one son, called Eliov, and Afiloch we use a Lashon plural of Bonai, so we could see Ubnei. So therefore we could see that when a person says Bonai, it can mean one son, and therefore only the son gets and the daughter not. And Rav Yosef says, I'll bring you a raya from somewhere else. That it says in Daf Hayomi, Bnei Eson, Aryeh, that the sons of Eson is only Aryeh, and Afiloch uses a Lashon plural. It's a bit schwer to understand. Bishlei Merov, didn't like Abai, so he said, I won't bring a raya from Bereshit, I'll bring a raya from Bamidbar. But Rav Yosef, what was wrong with Rava's raya from Bamidbar that we had to go all the way to the end of the Tanakh to Daf Hayomi to bring a raya to the subject? Continues the Gemara and says another story. Audo Omar lehu nichsai lebanai aba lebra ubar bra. Karu inchi lebar bra bra או לא? רב חביבה אמר קרו אינשי לבר ברה ברה. ברבשי אמר לא קרו אינשי לבר ברה ברה. תנא כבסי דמר ברבשי המודר הנאה מבנים מותר בבני בנים. So the Gemara said the story. A man said that his possession should go to his kids, to his banai, and he had a son and a grandson. So the question is, does a person call his grandson and his son, or not? Did he mean to give all his possessions to his son, or did he mean to give it also to his grandson? So Rav Chaviva says, yes, people call his grandson a son, and therefore the possessions are split between his son and his grandson. And Mara, the son of Rav Ashi, says, no, people don't call the grandson a son. So the Gemara, we have a raya from a brisa like Rav Ashi, because like Marabar Ravashi, you know why? Because it says Amuda Ano Mibonim. Someone who says I'm not going to have Ano from my sons, he's allowed to have Ano from his grandsons. So we could see if a person would call his grandson sons, we would say he's not allowed to have Ano also from his grandson. So we could see a right to Marabar Ravashi that someone does not call his grandson his son, and therefore the Yerusha should only go to his son. Says a Mishnah, הניח בנים גדולים וקטנים, השביחו גדולים את הנכסים, השביחו לאמצע. אם אמרו ראו מה שהניח אבא, הרי אנו עושים ואוכלים, השביחו לעצמם. וכן האישה שהשביחה את הנכסים, השביחה לאמצע. אם אמרה ראו מה שהניח לי בעלי, הרי זה עושה ואוכלת, השביחה לאמצע. So the Mishnah over here says two cases that are quite similar to each other. The Gemara later on is going to explain the second case about the woman, why do we need to repeat it, and what's exactly the case. But the first case is talking about a person who had a Yerusha, who passed away. Yaakov passed away, and he had big boys and young boys. And now the older boys went and invested in the possession of the father before they split it up between the kids. And it went up in value. So who gained the value that went up? Says the Mishnah that the value that went up, even the young kids who never invested anything gained from that going up in value, and they split the all the possessions equally. But, says a Mishnah, if they said, and Rashbam says in front of Bezdin, in front of Tuedim, in front of the Tzibor, and they said, listen, this is what we got Yerusha. We want to split already and invest. If we're not going to split, we're going to start investing now. And then they didn't split. Bezdin didn't split up for them, and they went and they invested into the fields of the father, and it went up in value. In that case, what it went up in value is only their benefit, and the younger kids who never invested don't benefit from this increase in value. Tell the Mishnah the same case, a woman that she got Yerusha, the Gemara is going to explain, and the Gemara will explain in the Gemara how is it possible that a woman gets a Yerusha from her husband, that she got a Yerusha together with the Yisoimim, and she invested in the Nechosim, and it went up in value. So the going up in value is split also with the Yisoimim. But if she said, like we said in the beginning, if she said, look what was left, let's split it up, and they never split it up, but okay, I'm going to invest, and she invested, in that case, all the way went up in value, it's her benefit, it's her, she gained, and the Yisoimim do not gain. Says the Gemara, Amar Rav Chaviva brei de Rav Yosef brei de Rava. משמי דרבה לא שנו אלא ששפכו נכסים מחמת נכסים, אבל שפכו נכסים מחמת עצמם, השביחו לעצמם. So Rav Chaviva, the son of Rav Yosef, who the son of Rava, said in the name of Rava. When did we say that these older sons invested in the fields, in the Yerusha? The way went the increase in value split between everyone. That's only when the investment was from the Yerusha itself. Let's say the father left a property and he left money as well, and these older sons took the money and did the extension of this property, and they invested £100,000, and the property went up in value £200,000. So in that case, we say that the going up in value, the extra £100,000 that's worth, it's split between everyone. But if they invested from their own pocket, or that they did the work themselves, in that case, where it went up in value £100,000 belongs only to the older brothers who invested or who did the work themselves. On that the Gemara asked, Eni va'amar Rav Chinena afilu lo iniach lahem aviem ela udini aschar lahem tzav udini demachmat atzmo hu shayne udini deletiruta o deavida va'afilu ktanei nami matziman teralu. Said the Gemara cash on this. How can you tell me that the din of the Mishnah only applies if the investment was from the money of the inheritance? But Rav Chanina said that even if the father only left them Odini is a pit of water together with its cover, and then they were charging people after the father passed away to water their fields from this water well. So the money that they gain goes halfway. Ask the Gemara, but the benefit of the way you make money from the pit of water is by protecting it, that no one should take it for free, and that the older brothers did. So if the older brothers do that, so it's as if they invested from their own money or from their own time, and therefore in that case, didn't Rava say that in that case that they get all the benefit? So why did it say that the schar la'emtza? It doesn't fit into what Rava said. On that, the Gemara answers no. The Odini is different. What the whole investment in the Odini is to protect it, that people shouldn't steal the water for free. And that you don't need to be a godel to do. Even the Ktanim could do that. The Ktanim, even a young boy could sit in the burr, and if someone comes and says, hey, get away, this is my father, this is ours, don't touch it. And therefore you don't need Dafka the Gdolim. And therefore Odini, Schal Emta, because they could all guard it, even the Ktanim, and therefore they could all do the work, and therefore what goes up in value or what they get rent for this Udini split between all the brothers fairly. Thank you very much. We should be blessed, and here the service Toibus.